Hello everybody and welcome back. I'm the R6 lore guy, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at the Battle Pass lore for Operation Prep Phase. Now, as a quick refresher, this takes place after the assault on Hereford base. The Keres Legion partook in an assault which killed many of Rainbow's recruits, which caused Rainbow to restructure their entire recruiting system. A part of this included recalling all recruit training to Hereford base. This was part of the Keres Legion's plan, as they managed to plant some of their soldiers as recruits and infiltrate Rainbow's ranks. When the time came, these recruits turned on their colleagues and initiated the assault of Hereford base. Their goal, to eliminate Rainbow and free Deimos from their captivity. This assault would be led by Phobos and result in Hereford base being destroyed. With many legitimate recruits being killed on this assault and a bunch of personnel missing, Rainbow would be in a rough position. For reasons we do not know yet, the Keres Legion managed to capture Dokkaebi and are holding her captive, but it does seem like Rainbow did manage to escape with Deimos still in their custody. As well as this, it seems around this time, Rainbow and Nighthaven would begin to start working together again. During this assault, there would be a recruit from New Zealand by the alias of Striker Z09, who helped in assisting the man who was reporting for the GSAC, Rainbow's overseeing council, and also assisted Blackbeard and Sens during this assault. After the rubble had settled, due to their bravery and their actions during this assault, Striker Z09 would be recruited as a full operator by the name of Rauora. She would be recruited into Hibana's squad viperstrike, and her gadget, the Dom panel launcher, would be developed by Mira, and we actually see a bit more about this in the Battle Pass itself. But with Dokkaebi missing, Rainbow are beginning to try and follow leads to see if they can find where she is. Rainbow operative Sledge and Nighthaven agent Smoke would intercept a movement of ordnance by the Keres Legion. Here they would find a name of a company plastered on the side of this ordnance: Polaris. Rauora and Solus would make their way to Polaris's headquarters in Detroit to find if they could see any leads as to where Dokkaebi is. It's here where they find Keres soldiers downloading information from this company, and as our operators go to capture one of these soldiers for interrogation, Phobos kills this soldier and blows up this building. Our two operators manage to escape, alongside the data in which these soldiers were extracting, and now we move into Operation Prep Phase. Now, starting off with the story tab titled Ashen Dawn, we get to see Rauora's perspective of the assault on Hereford base, and how it felt to be a recruit during this Order 66-esque attack. She says the following: N13. Linnea was my friend. We were paired up as sparring partners on day one, and were inseparable ever since. She had invited me to her wedding next month. I even bought a new dress. Then she killed Irma, Vasily, Edwin, and Alex before I could finally put her down. This is the kind of enemy I've been training to beat all my life. And here they were, sitting beside me, telling jokes. I'll always be looking over my shoulder now, but I have to remember why I'm doing this. I believe in what Rainbow stands for. It's why I agreed to take the trials. It's why I'm staying. Lives are at risk, and even if I can only save one more person, that has to be enough for me. Okay, what a really interesting paragraph about the assault on Hereford base. You had this group of recruits who were all friends, Rauora being one of them, of course, and then you had Linnea, Irma, Vasily, Edwin, and Alex. All of them training for Rainbow, all of them doing the training regimen that Thorn had set up for them, seemingly all being good friends as well, but Linnea was working for the Keres Legion, killing the rest of them until Rauora killed her. That's such a sad story and some really good world building in my opinion, and I think it really helps humanize the recruits as well. They aren't just being referred to as their aliases and their code names. They are using a first name basis here. These are people with families that the Keres Legion killed. An interesting perspective we've not seen so far. I really like that. Okay, so let's move on to some of the Battle Pass lore itself with the different items. Now, this isn't a massive Battle Pass. A lot of this Battle Pass is celebration packs. So compared to other Battle Passes, this one is a bit more lighter on the lore, but that doesn't mean that there isn't important information in it. So this first one is going to be coming from Sens, talking about Rauora, and they are referring to the event which happened in the comic book for Operation Collision Point. And Sens says, the way she charged that Keres soldier when my gun jammed really saved my ass. Note to self, don't play rugby against the newbie. So of course she did save Sens in that comic book, and that is what Sens is talking about here. And I also like the reference to rugby as well, because that is a hobby of Rauora's and we know that from her bio. So it's nice to see that moment from the comic book carried on here and seeing it from Sens's perspective. Next up we have one from her leader, Captain Hibana of Viperstrike, saying, breathe. This is what all your training has been for. Welcome to Rainbow. Which I imagine is something all the recruits want to hear at some point during their career. This one is a more personal one by Rauora, and it seems like she is on the phone with her husband, I can imagine, which we do know from her bio that she has a husband and sons, I assume 2. So we seem to hear her side of the phone call, and I imagine this is them talking about what just happened at Hereford. And she says, "Yeah, I'm okay. How are the boys?" "Good. Tell them I won't be home for a while. Tell them Mama loves them." I personally think it's quite cool that we're seeing another operator who is openly expressing how she's a mother and is proud of it, and it's a big part of her character. The last operators we got which truly have a big sentiment about their children in the lore is Lion and Zofia. I'm not saying other operators don't have families, but it seems to be a big part of her, just like with those other operators, and I think it's quite a nice thing. We actually have a few here from Vigil, who is another operator who is focused on in this Battle Pass lore, especially with Dokkaebi being captured. They both entered Rainbow at the same time. And this first one, he is talking about Mira and the development of the Dom launcher. And he says, "I was in the room when Mira finished work on the Dom launcher. She just stared blankly at it, like she was waiting for the team that once was." Now, this one has quite a lot to it because something you have to remember is this is the first gadget she has just developed during the aftermath of the assault on Hereford. The team is shaken. Dokkaebi is missing. I imagine a lot of the staff and personnel working at Rainbow may have been killed in that attack. The team isn't the same as it was prior to this assault. So Mira developing this gadget is probably very bittersweet. It's made from this person who was a recruit prior to this attack, representing the future of Rainbow. The fact that there's people who still want to fight for this cause and care about it, but also the fact that things will probably never be the same for her. This is a big part in the lore that is going to be a massive landmark going forward forever, and it's quite rightful so that she isn't just going back to her ways as normal. It's clearly quite somber and different. This next one by Vigil, he is talking to his captain of the Ghosteyes squad, Kavera, and he says, "They took Dokkaebi. Don't tell me she's not a priority. What are we going to do about it, Kavera?" And I think we can take a few things from this. So the first one is that when Dokkaebi and Vigil made their way into Rainbow, if you don't know, Dokkaebi actually hacked her way into Rainbow. She knew that her overheads didn't like her. She was constantly being put at disadvantages by them. She was never going to be in the consideration to join Rainbow. The people who were put on that list to be presented for Rainbow was Vigil and another soldier, part of the 707th SMB. But Dokkaebi hacked her system and placed her name on the list. And Harry would go on to say that he liked this about her. When others wanted her punished for it, he saw the promise. But she believed that Vigil was also recruited as to keep tabs on Dokkaebi and basically keep her in line and spy on her from her major general who never liked her and basically wanted her removed from the White Tigers. So moving to this piece of Battle Pass lore, it shows that Vigil does truly care about Dokkaebi. And he isn't just there because their major general wants to keep an eye on her. He cares about her and he wants her home. Another thing this could also be referring to as well is when we saw Solus and Rauora infiltrating Polaris in Detroit, they of course got some data from this. So there could be a chance that what is on this is way more critical and bigger than just saving Dokkaebi, hence why Kavera is saying that Dokkaebi currently isn't a priority, despite how Vigil may feel about that, but that's just speculation. Vigil's next one, he is talking to Ram, who is another South Korean soldier, and she was also a recruit, similar to Rauora, and Ram was present during the attack on Tower, which caused the recruit system to be changed to begin with. She lost her friends and fellow recruits on that assault. Vigil was there as well training her, and she was a part of the all-female unit, the 35th Commando Battalion, known as the Tarantula Unit. So Vigil says, "Check on your little sisters with Tarantula, Ram. The people who care about you need to know that you are all right." And it's just very nice to see Vigil looking out for his 2 fellow South Korean counterparts. He was there when Ram was a recruit, and he's been with Dokkaebi since they both joined Rainbow. So he clearly cares for both of them and wants to make sure that both of them are safe and okay. The next one we have is by Castle, and he's talking about the Global Security Alliance Council, and there's another mention of them in here as well. And what Castle says is, "I don't care what GSAC says. There's still personnel unaccounted for. Families left in the dark. It's not right." So the biggest question we get from this is, what did GSAC say? They were doing a vote on if they should shut Rainbow down, and we don't know that outcome. Maybe this is prior to a vote and he's just saying, regardless of what the outcome is, there's people missing, there's recruits died, there's rainbow staff missing, there's still families left in the dark, we still have work to do. Maybe this is the outcome of the vote where they have voted to shut down Rainbow and he shares that same sentiment. We don't know what GSAC have said or done. All we know is Castle cares about making things right and the safety of people, regardless of what politicians have to say about it. Speaking of politicians, this next one mentions Aurelia Arnot, the politician responsible for reactivating this Rainbow Squad back in 2015, being their first director until she became the Secretary of State, which seems like it may still be a position she holds, as we have this bit from Scopos saying, Secretary Arnot, I need to get back there. Fuck the report. They need my help. Now, of course, Kure is very involved with the GSAC. Them and Aurelia were a big part of her reintegration into Rainbow, and they also wanted her to report back to them about Rainbow's effectiveness, and basically evaluate if they're still worth funding. In the Battle Pass lore for Collision Point, one of the GSAC members by the name of Lucas Liu wanted to remove Kure from the report. He said that she is too close to the squad and cannot effectively evaluate them, saying that they should discard all previous assessments and get someone new, which they did in the Collision Point comic, who was then killed by the Keres Legion. So whether it seems like Scopos is still on the case and the vote hasn't been held yet, that could be the case here. Or she just could be meaning like, fuck whatever the GSAC thinks. I'm still a soldier and these are my colleagues and I need to help them. She clearly cares deeply for the squad, and her working alongside Rainbow again has probably reignited a lot from her past days. And it's also just really cool to see Aurelia mentioned once again. I'm glad to see that she is now becoming a reoccurring character. But yeah, really hope we see more from the GSAC soon. I want to see if they do this vote, what the outcome of it is, how Nighthaven working with them again affects all of this. I feel like there's still a lot for us to learn about this whole situation. Okay, so the final two are from two Nighthaven agents, which is the correct term for the Nighthaven ops. They are agents. Rainbow's operators, Nighthaven's agents. The first one is Smoke talking to Sledge. Of course, we saw them in that mission in the cinematic. I wonder if this was potentially prior to that or after, but he says, "This is business, Sledge. Tell Thatcher not to hold his breath for a reunion. Now fuck off. It's my turn to lose some shrapnel." So it seems like they're trying to hammer in the whole point here of that Nighthaven are still their own thing. They're still mercenaries. They're still guns for hire. This isn't Smoke returning to Rainbow with open arms. This is work. This is business. And the saying, "it's my turn to lose some shrapnel," I believe is referring to the fact that when Deimos blew up that facility in year 8, Sledge had shrapnel lodged in his leg. So for me, this is like Smoke's way of saying, it's my turn to get my hands dirty. It's my turn to get some shrapnel in my leg removed. You know, we're getting involved, but this is still business. And it's funny he mentions Thatcher as well, because it made me immediately think of the comic book from Operation Demon Veil when Azami joined, as when Thatcher was talking about Smoke, he referred to him as a backstabbing shite that works for Nighthaven. I wonder if he still feels the same way. And the final one is from Wamai talking to Ace, saying, "Put my burger down, Ace. We have to go. Now." And this was probably the moment when Nighthaven agents got the order that they're going to get involved now, and they now have a job to do. And Ace and Wamai over the past few years have had this like back and forth between Battle Pass lores as well, with stuff like, why doesn't Wamai like me? Wamai, do you want to hang out? They've had this sort of playful back and forth banter of Wamai clearly not being impressed by Ace. And with this one, Ace has even stolen his burger. But I think all of that is intentional, because now it's kind of like, you know, lock in. Of course, they would have still been working. They would have still been doing stuff for Nighthaven, but this is probably a much bigger task they have been assigned now. So it's like, okay, Ace, come on, it's time to do this. So maybe we'll see this sort of playful relationship between the two of them continue going forward, especially now that they are involved with Rainbow again. But everyone, that is the Battle Pass for Year 10 Season 1 Operation Prep Phase. Not as long as some other Battle Passes, but still a lot to unpack and a lot of information from it. So be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If there is anything you think I missed, then be sure to comment it, or if you interpret something a different way, let me know your thoughts in it in the comment section below. Drop a like on this video if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you're new. Catch you all later. I love you all. Stay safe. Peace.